A breakthrough in the Israel-Hamas war, a ceasefire in exchange for dozens of hostages.
It's a life-saving pause.
We're live in Tel Aviv with breaking details as they happen in these tense negotiations and whether we have any idea what condition those hostages will be in. Here at home, law enforcement preparing for the holidays with added vigilance. The heightened security precautions, especially in New York City because of the conflict in Gaza. And you know, today is the busiest travel day of the year, what you can expect at airports, on the rails, and on the roads, with a record-breaking number of people heading out for Thanksgiving.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade route.
Today marks 60 years since JFK's assassination. The Secret Service agent who stood outside President Kennedy's hospital room joins us live with details we've never known about and what sticks with him the most 6 decades later.
Breaking news this morning, Israel and Hamas agreeing to a pause in fighting and a hostage deal. It will take effect tomorrow at 3 a.m. Eastern time. That's according to Egypt's state-run broadcaster.
Just in time for Thanksgiving. Under that agreement, at least 50 hostages, all women and children, will be freed. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Red Cross will welcome that group of Israeli hostages starting at 5 p.m. local time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern in the U.S. The story has made headlines all around the globe. People have been waiting and praying to see whether or not any of the hostages will be released. This is a very tense exchange. Israel is going to pause its air and ground operations in the region for a minimum of 4 days.
Now, Hamas says 150 Palestinian prisoners, also women and children, will be released from Israeli jails. Now, the agreement also allowing humanitarian aid and fuel for civilians in Gaza. Robert Sherman is live on the ground in Tel Aviv with more on what we can expect when things move forward. Robert, good morning.
Good morning to you, Nick. And these meetings carried on into the early morning hours here. Israelis waking up today with news of this deal being struck. 50 hostages would be released if this deal goes according to plan in exchange for a 4-day pause and the release of some Palestinian prisoners as well. And it's important to understand here is that the government in Israel has been taking immense pressure from both sides. There are some who believe this deal should not have been cut, as they feel as though that it will work to Hamas's benefit and allow them the opportunity to regroup. But then there are others who believe every hostage needs to be released and any deal that can be made should be made. This is what the Prime Minister had to say before that meeting last night.
In war, there are stages, and also in the returning of hostages, there are stages. But we will not let go until we reach the absolute victory and until we bring them all back.
And you heard the words there, absolute victory. The Prime Minister emphasizing that the war is not over and will resume on the other side of this 4-day pause. In terms of the specifics of the hostage release, we're expecting that to begin Thursday, be spread out over the 4 days. But in terms of who will be released, that's not certain yet. Take Gali Tarshansky, a 13-year-old girl who was taken from Kibbutz Be'eri. In theory, she could be on the list of people who will get released, but nobody knows, not even her family.
When I heard this solution that the government make with Hamas, I feel so disappointed because I don't know if my Gali will be with this list that will go home, and I want her as soon as possible.
U.S. officials confirming 2 women and 1 American child are among the hostages that are currently being held, and they do believe that Americans will be a part of this hostage release. Adrienne.
All right, Robert, our thanks to you. Joining us right now from southern Israel, Efrat Makikawa, 5 of her loved ones stolen away by Hamas terrorists during the massacre on civilians on October 7th. Efrat, thank you so much for being with us. I know the developments over the past 24 hours have to be exciting, exhilarating, and yet at the same time, there's anxiety. I mean, it's just, you're tense. You don't know if your loved ones are going to be released. How many of those 5 related to you are women and children?
So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for keeping this up in the news. It's very important. I think it's not only our problem, but it's a global problem. We have an elderly and then another family member with her 2 daughters. So we're 4.
4 out of 5 are women and children. You know, there are a lot of talks about how families will be notified. Has the Israeli government told you anything about this particular hostage release?
No, we don't know anything. We're waiting. We're hopeful, but I must tell you that I keep the sparkle of hope quite restrained. I will be happy for everyone who comes alive. We just want our people back. We want all the 240. I understand it's going to be in steps, and we're just waiting. We're very much restrained, I think, with our hopes.
What have you and your family been doing to ease the pain over these past couple of months?
I think there isn't much to do to ease the pain. The pain is enormous. It's a pain that has so many echoes to it. It's a pain within the family. It's a pain around friends. It's a pain of community. It's pain for the nation. It might be difficult to understand where you're so far away and you have your very different daily life, but things here are very sad. It's been a brutal attack, and beyond any imagination any human being can grasp. And I think it's very important we talk about it, because I think there is much to do. And I think institutions like the UN must rethink of how they're dealing with it, and institutions that take care of women and children must think very hard of what's happening here.
What would you say to those who have questioned the legitimacy of what happened on that horrific day on October 7th? It blows a lot of people's minds, not just here in America, but around the world, who would even think to doubt that Hamas terrorists did such unimaginable, in the word that you use, things to other people.
It is beyond words to explain the disappointment in humanity. I think people should ask themselves before they dare to say anything against what happened. You should hear the testimonies. You should come and see what happened. I know it's hard to believe it happened, but it did happen. You should hear the stories and you should see the evidence. And it's so horrific that it's just too sad to think that anyone can think it did not happen.
Even with so much evidence, even sadly with video proofs, it's unquestionable that there are.
Unquestionable.
It doesn't make any sense that people would actually say this was AI or this was a generated image, this was fake. I myself as a journalist don't understand that. I don't understand why there are some media outlets questioning some of the testimonies of you and others who have loved ones in captivity. One more question for you.
I really thank you for that.
No, it's 100% the truth. But you were here on NewsNation about a month ago.
Yes.
Is there any glimmer, like you said, those little glimmers of hope, any contact with your aunt or your uncle or your cousin? Is there any way that you've seen signs of life from these 5?
First, it's really hard to believe it's been a month since we spoke. It feels like one long day. I really honestly do not know exactly what day is today and how can 1 month be connected to today. It's very hard to grasp. And we still are very hopeful, and we're still looking for that sparkle. but we don't have anything different or new to rely on. But we are very hopeful, very hopeful.
Well, that hope is certainly
strong.
Yes, that hope is strengthening. And we wish you and your family the best. And we hope that you are among the families who hear the news.
I just want to say that soon you will be celebrating Thanksgiving. And I wish you all a very happy holiday. And I just hope that we will all be united around our tables with our families, and we will have a lot to thank for.
Efrat, the fact that you can speak to other people's celebrations proves your heart. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for that pureness.
We cherish life. Thank you. Shalom. Thank you very much.
Shalom to you as well. May we all cherish life around the world. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Adrienne, more breaking news out of the Middle East this morning. U.S. forces have hit 2 facilities linked to Iran and Iraq. This was the second airstrike in about 24 hours. Earlier, a U.S. gunship killed 3 militants. Until now, the U.S. has been only targeting Iran-held interest in Syria. U.S. Central Command confirming the strikes were in direct response to recent attacks against American troops in that region.
Now to an alarming safety warning in New York City. This is all connected. Ahead of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, there were concerns about domestic terror threats. Vigilance is required. Governor Kathy Hochul announcing increased security for the annual parade. It draws many thousands of people to the city, a lot of tourists. And again, the governor cited a rise in hate crimes and violence as the reason for making this announcement.
At home, many people are wrestling with the fear for the first time ever sometime in their lives of being the victim of a hate crime. I wish I could tell you these concerns were misplaced, but tragically the data all across America is showing that hate crimes have surged in the last 6 weeks.
We know that after October 7th, there's been an increase in level of concerns, but we're on top of it. No one does it better than NYPD and their partners to deal with some of the potential terrorist threats that we're facing.
Now, to be clear, there are no known credible threats in New York as of this morning. But as you can imagine, especially during the holidays, we see more potential for those kinds of alerts. Other cities across the nation are also watchful today through Friday. You see those on your screen there. Malls are going to be packed. Shopping centers are packed. You got to keep your head on the swivel, no matter where you are. Nick?
Yeah, Adrienne, to the Thanksgiving holiday rush, I want to talk about that this morning because AAA expects more than 55 million people to travel over the holiday weekend. This is a live look at Los Angeles International Airport. Now, if you see that traffic, you may be thinking to yourself, LAX is always like that, but the crowds have indeed increased. And Xavier Walton is live inside Miami International Airport, where the crowds there have lines that are also snaking around corners. Xavier, good morning.
Nick, they are, and they were snaking around corners earlier, but look at this ticket counter now. It looks pretty empty, so we're going to actually get a little, we're going to cut the line a little bit. So come on with us. We're going to cut the line here at security because it has been busy all morning long here at Miami International Airport. Things actually, when you look here, they're not so bad, but keep in mind, you want to get here a couple hours before the flight or so. And I'm going to join the 2.7 million or so from TSA that are actually hopping on a plane. And these folks, wave, sir. Say hello, hello, hello. These fine folks are getting ready to go through security. They get on a plane. But 2.7 million Americans, TSA says, like these folks right here, are supposed to be getting on a plane, flying to their destination, even more expected on Sunday after Thanksgiving. The pressure is really on this holiday travel season after last year's mishaps. And travelers, keep this in the back of your mind. If you're getting on a plane, if you're flying, delays and cancellations, the Department of Transportation is really pushing its airline protection policy. So if you have issues getting a refund, the DOT is saying, hey, file a complaint right away. Travel experts, here's what they recommend. 3-2-1 rule, right? 3 hours before your flight, be at the airport 2 hours prior. Get in line at security, which is where I am right now. 1 hour before your flight, you should be at your gate. And as we swing back around the camera, it is early, and we keep checking the flight tracker misery map to see how many delays and cancellations there have been. And we are all up in the way. So I'm going to send it back to you, but no major ones to report across the country, at least right now.
Well, that's certainly, I mean, people are all going to be rethinking and thinking about what's the best time to leave, especially if they're hitting the road. I know we're going to be talking about that right now. Thank you, Xavier. AAA says it is likely to be busiest today on the roads. More than 49 million people are getting in their cars to travel for Thanksgiving. We have a live look at the roadways in San Francisco. I'm guessing this is Interstate 80, hailing back to my...
I'm thinking 290. See?
My early days in traffic reporting. I cannot tell where that is. However, it is wide open right now. Though it is early, it's only 6 o'clock, I think it would usually be a little bit busier. So maybe that's some good news. But traffic is expected to get worse into the afternoon and evening hours. The price of a gallon of gasoline, it's allowing more people to get on the roads. It's down 40 cents from the same time last year. Unleaded, costing on average just $3.28 as of today, according to AAA. That
now,
is nice.
As hundreds of thousands of people head down the roadways, we know that we want them all to be safe.
That's right. Everybody stay safe and have a wonderful holiday. But there are a lot of people who have been making their way every single month to the southern border. More and more of them. We've seen those record-breaking numbers. While thousands remain in camps in Mexico, they're actually waiting to cross, waiting for that chance that they have. A look inside those camps, a look at life in a border town controlled by one of Mexico's most dangerous cartels.
The News Nation Republican primary debate, December 6th on News Nation.
Dry skin is sensitive skin too, and it's natural. Treat it that way with Aveeno Daily Moisture. Formulated with nourishing prebiotic oat, it's clinically proven to moisturize dry skin for 24 hours. Aveeno.
We're standing up for our right to be lazy. We work hard. We deserve to scroll hard.
It's the Black Friday sale. Great deals on recliners, sofas, sectionals, and more. Lazy Boy. Long live the lazy.
I've never been healthier.
Shingles doesn't care, but Shingrix protects. Proven over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or to a previous dose. An increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome was observed after getting Shingrix. Fainting can also happen. The most common side effects are pain, redness and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering, fever, and upset stomach. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Shingrix today.
I got a health plan not knowing that I was going to need it 3 months later. For $17 a month, my plan includes counseling, and it completely changed my life.
I'm not on my parents' health insurance anymore, so I found a plan for just $34 a month.
Signing up was so easy. It only took me 30 minutes to find a plan for $13 a month.
All plans cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll by December 15th.
At Consumer Cellular, we offer amazing 5G coverage, backed up by incredible customer service. But that wouldn't mean much without super low prices. You already know we're up to half as much as the largest carriers. But guess what? AARP members can save even more. Yahoo!
Switch to Consumer Cellular now and get unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at only $20 a month.
I have moderate to severe Crohn's disease. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are looking up. I've got symptom relief. Control of my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Skyrizi is the first IL-23 inhibitor that can deliver remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And the majority of people experienced long-lasting remission at 1 year.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
Now's the time to ask your gastroenterologist how you can take control of your Crohn's with Skyrizi.
Control is everything to me.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
May you live in interesting times. Like it or not, we live in interesting times. They are times of danger and uncertainty. But they are also the most creative of any time in the history of mankind. So, this Thanksgiving, as we take time to reflect, give thanks for family, friends, and community. Yes, we live in interesting times, but peace resides in a grateful heart.
Hey, welcome back. Turning now to the southern border, and we want to take a look at what life is like for some migrants who are waiting to enter the United States.
More than 2,000 people, they're living in camps in Mexico in an area controlled by cartels. Violence and extortion are common. Our Jorge Ventura is live this morning in McAllen, Texas, with more on those camps and what life is like there. Jorge?
Good morning, Adrienne. So I got the chance to visit two of the most dangerous migrant camps on the Mexican border in Reynosa, just across from us here in McAllen, Texas. Now, Reynosa is controlled by the Gulf Cartel and other criminal smuggling organizations who are profiting from smuggling and extorting desperate migrants attempting to reach the U.S. border. Around 2,300 migrants from all over the world are living inside these camps, both named Sena de Vida, or Path to Life. They are there waiting to be granted an appointment to present themselves at a legal port of entry through the CBP One app. Some migrants here have been waiting for more than 3 months to be granted an appointment. And as they wait, many are being kidnapped by smugglers connected to criminal organizations and held in stash houses where they are tortured until a family member in the U.S. or back home country pays a ransom fee for their release. A Venezuelan couple telling me their teenage son was kidnapped 2 weeks ago near the camps, and they've not heard from him since. And a Cuban migrant, Jose Cineros, and Venezuelan migrant Hector Julian were both taken, and Julian telling me his family paid $6,000 for his release.
They held us hostage for 6 days until our families could gather the money to free us.
I was kidnapped for 9 days. The truth is that it's horrible. I don't wish that terror on anybody. You go through a lot of torture there. For example, if they call your family and they don't answer, they will start torturing you. They remove your nail with pliers. They will hit you with a bat. It's truly terrible.
Now, migrants tell me they feel for their lives every day and are constantly threatened and extorted, even by Mexican law enforcement, whose sources say tip off cartels when migrant groups are arriving in town. Now, during my visit inside these camps, I've also encountered many Russian migrants who say that they were also extorted and beaten by Mexican cartels and Mexican law enforcement, but did not want to speak on camera because they fear persecution from their government. Adrienne and Nick.
Jorge, such a tough situation. Thank you so much. Well, this Thanksgiving dinner table conversation is going to be odd.
Well, it might be, unless you have a rule of not talking about politics or controversial issues. But might weight loss drugs be something you talk about? Our NewsNation newsmakers will have their say on how the changing holiday narrative might impact your dinner. Renowned OB/GYN Dr. Jamil Abdur-Rahman is here, attorney and host of the Divorce and Beyond podcast. Susan Guthrie is with us, and Democratic strategist Kurt Bardella came all the way in from Washington to be with us. We'll have them next.
This is Marianne's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Marianne packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre. Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Start learning today at Babbel.com.
When you've tried everything.
I was getting chemical peels, bleaching creams.
This is melasma. I'm trying to get rid of it. I've tried everything.
Introducing Muesli Face RX, prescription skincare delivered straight to your door. The spot cream is 10 times more potent than over-the-counter and prescription alternatives, so you'll finally see a difference.
My skin looks amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm a loyal customer forever.
See for yourself at muesli.com/TV.
If your thyroid eye disease was diagnosed a long, long time ago, you may think your eyes will be bulging forever, like a never-ending curse that can't be broken. But even if you've been told it's too late, Treating your thyroid eye disease may still be possible, and a new day is within sight. Learn how you could give your eyes a fresh start at stilltreatted.com.
If your vehicle isn't under warranty, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. Sooner or later, it's going to break down, and you'll be stuck with a repair bill that could blow up your budget. Unless you have an auto protection plan from Everything Breaks. Our protection plans cover the expensive items that your auto insurance doesn't, like engine repairs, transmission, AC, computer systems, and more. Plus, our plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, free towing, free trip interruption, and free rental cars. Plans from other providers can cost between $100 to $200 per month. But with Everything Breaks, you can get the critical coverage that you need with plans starting at less than $1 a day. And if you call right now, your rates will be locked in, guaranteed. If your vehicle is out of warranty, call us now to get protected before it breaks down.
Call 1-800-374-4456, 1-800-374-4456.
Now we know the terms of the exchange of 50 hostages. These are women and children. I know my son isn't part of this exchange. I don't know how long I should wait.
Israel and Hamas have agreed to a 4-day-long ceasefire in exchange for hostages. You just heard from one of the family members. Her son is being held in Hamas captivity. Humanitarian aid and the release of Palestinian prisoners are also on the table in exchange for those hostages and the ceasefire. It takes effect tomorrow at 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and under that agreement, at least 50 hostages, all women and children, will be free. That means for family members like the one you just heard, is still a waiting game. Our NewsNation newsmakers are here to have their say. Dr. Jamil why do I keep getting
Abdur-Rahman.
Dr. J. They're keeping it in the prompter for me.
I'll say it next time.
My goodness. Okay, and Susan Guthrie and Kurt Berdella are here with us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Kurt, I'm going to start with you because obviously this has been a highly polarizing conversation. There's been so much pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu. He had said many, many times before he would not agree to a ceasefire until all of the hostages are being released. How do you think this is being perceived globally and here in America?
Well, I think that they were able to reach this, 4-day ceasefire. It shows that there's some, bias towards acting responsibly. I think that in terms of the global community, this is something that's going to be looked upon as, okay, let's all take a breath, let's all take a beat. This is a good thing. Anytime that you can have a situation where, even if it's a short amount of time, violence can stop, hostages can be returned, that is positive. That's a step in positive direction. That's a lot better than blowing up hospitals. So we'll take it right now.
Yeah. Well, I think the hospitals, that's a whole nother conversation, just with the actual evidence that there are tunnels, Hamas used tunnels and weaponry arsenals inside and underneath that hospital. But speaking of hospitals, we have Dr. J here. You and your brother have done relief work in the Middle East. Yeah. In terms of the Red Cross coordinating the exchange of these hostages, I mean, what do you believe, from your knowledge, will happen as they are handed over by Hamas? We don't know what condition they're in. We don't know. I would assume that the Hamas would give them over alive. But they'll be treated for sure.
Yeah, they'll be treated, and they're going to require a lot of both psychological and medical treatment. I think a lot of times people don't consider the psychological effect of what they're going through. Medically, they're going to need a lot of help. But psychologically, when you're away from your family, when there's all of the uncertainty of whether or not you'll be returned, whether or not you'll be returned in good shape, whether or not you're even going to live, I think that those are the issues that they're really going to have to deal with more than anything else, because I've seen a lot of evidence that potentially medically they've been taking decent care of people for the most part with the limited resources they have. And so I think it's the psychological effects that they're really going to have to address that a lot of times people don't consider.
Well, there are documented videos now that we're still waiting to see more of hostages inside of the hotels, the El Shifa hospital there in Gaza.
And I have to believe, too, even when we talk about them being released, there's also the psychological effect of we have family members who've gone back and others still have family members who are missing. I have to believe that you think that would be difficult for people to deal with as well.
Oh, and I would imagine right now, you have so many families waiting to see if their family members will be the ones who are going to be released. and then the additional trauma on the families who are not among the 50 that are released. So it's an ongoing re-traumatization for these families and for these people. And then you hear about things like survivor guilt. What I would imagine those who are released are going to feel, you know, some ongoing trauma from that as well.
Yeah, and we're still, again, waiting for more information to come in. This is brand new as of this morning, that this hostage deal is done and that by Thanksgiving, some of these families are going to be reunited. Some Americans in that number. But it's right here at home where we're still dealing with the effects of this conflict. In New York City, I lived there for 5 years. I lived right near where they set up the Thanksgiving Day parade. 3.5 million people will watch the parade in person. Kurt, obviously we know holidays are rife with threats. I mean, this is when we often see some of these threats.
Right. I mean, we've been particularly living with this reality since September 11th, honestly.
Correct.
That anytime you have big congregating places in big cities particularly, yeah, the threat level's higher, the awareness is higher, the diligence is higher, and it should be. Hopefully, you know, I have to say, whatever side you might be on, the worst thing you could do for your side, especially when it comes to this conflict, is to take an act of terror on American soil. That is the surest way to get almost everyone universally to line up against you. You will not be helping your cause if you think going down that road is somehow going to be the way to express your beliefs about what's happening right now in our world.
It would be nice to believe that we all could rally around the thought that terrorists are bad. But as we've seen, Susan, that is not the case. It's as though there are people looking at this conflict and at this tragedy through completely different lenses and glasses than others.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're seeing that extremism brings about, you know, a certain element of society that just grasps right onto that message and unfortunately amplifies it. And so we do, and we have felt, I think since 9/11 and certainly in the past few years, felt much more polarized. And so that threat level, I think, for everyone right now feels especially high with where we are in the world.
Thank God 9/11 didn't happen at a time where there's all these social media tools, there's all these algorithms that are just pumping out disinformation and propaganda, and anyone that has a phone can express themselves in a way that may not be palatable or appropriate. I mean, you look at the spread of conspiracy theory, you look at the spread of, you know, with AI now and different information, it's like, if that had been around in 9/11, the aftermath of 9/11 would look really different.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think that the anxiety is an issue, right, Dr. J?
The anxiety is definitely an issue. But
just watching some of these images.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the polarization as well kind of results from the fact that, you know, people don't always consider the nidus, what we call the nidus in medicine, for what's occurring, right? And so, you know, you look at something like the Nat Turner revolt back in 1831, right? I mean, people looked at that as being an extreme act at the time. But now, in hindsight, we look back and say, well, you know, hurt people, which sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. And so oftentimes when you look at, you know, the response to terrorist acts, they focus on the act. But what led to the act, you know? And I think that a lot of the polarization results from the fact that we tend to look at things in a vacuum, and we don't consider what led to it, and we kind of look at what follows based on a lack of looking at what led to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Guys, I want to do a complete shift and talk about the latest guest that will be at everyone's Thanksgiving table, either admittedly or secretly. And I'm talking about Ozempic. Let's talk about that, guys, because more than 9 million prescriptions for Ozempic, Mounjaro, etc., in Q4 2022, up 300% between January 2020 and December 2022. What do we say about this, Sarah? Is this the way to finally get over this whole obesity situation here in the United States?
I don't think so. I mean, look, Ozempic helps, right? Because it moves food more slowly through your GI tract, so you feel fuller longer. It stimulates hormones that make you feel full. So it's a start. But obesity ends here. It starts here. You know, and oftentimes medications don't address that. It's kind of like when people get gastric bypass. A lot of times they regain the weight because it starts.
They still see themselves as overweight.
Exactly.
They still see themselves as large.
And they have the behavior patterns that led to that. And no medication changes that.
I just wonder, because I have friends who have taken the drug and they are not hungry. It's like we'll be having this great time celebrating, and before they would have been eating with me, and now it's like, no, I had my shake this morning, and I'm thinking, man, that's lousy. That is lousy around Thanksgiving Day.
Sounds like half my friends in L.A., though. A Tic Tac and a cigarette, and they're good to go. But you guys, no, seriously, guys. Listen, we really want to thank you all for being here this morning.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to each of you. All right?
We hope that you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving celebration.
You too.
And your families. Well, reliving the JFK assassination 60 years later, the Secret Service agent assigned to the First Lady Jackie Kennedy's detail is going to be joining us, along with a presidential historian. what they remember about that deadly day, and they are now revealing previously unknown details that we're going to share with you right here on News Nation.
Red Lobster's new Lobster and Shrimp Celebration.
We got tails, shrimp, waiters, potatoes, sausages and bosses, cheddar bay stuffing, no bluffing.
3 lobster and shrimp entrees for a limited time.
New emergency crystals pop and fizz when you throw them back. And who doesn't love a good throwback? Emergency crystals.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month.
If your roof is showing danger signs like streaks or raised shingles, it could mean trouble, and a new roof could cost $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000.
Introducing RoofMax, the first professional and affordable roofing treatment that is scientifically proven
to strengthen and extend the life of your roof.
With RoofMax, you'll have the protection of a brand new roof and save thousands. RoofMax's skilled technicians apply a safe, effective, and affordable natural treatment. And within hours, you have a roof that performs like a new roof. RoofMax's exclusive treatment resaturates old, dried shingles with a natural, bio-friendly formula that quickly restores flexibility and water-repelling protection guaranteed. Look, this is a 17-year-old asphalt shingle. It literally disintegrates. But here's an identical shingle that we treated with RoofMax's proven formula.
It passed rigorous flexibility testing from The Ohio State University as a new shingle.
So a RoofMax roof can also pass a home inspection if you're getting ready to sell or for insurance, saving you money.
RoofMax has treated over 50 million square feet of roofs all across America. And just check out our website for the thousands of 5-star reviews.
You know, I was skeptical at first with the existing condition of the roofs. We were having high winds and shingles were blowing off the roofs continually. But, you know, 5 years later, after the application, the roofs look great, and we have no issues with any shingles blowing off the roof.
Keep your family safe and happy with RoofMax.
Call or go online now for a comprehensive leak threat analysis and roof maintenance tune-up, a $539 value free. RoofMax, more life, less money, guaranteed.
Call 1-800-720-6193. That's 1-800-720-6193 or log on to roofmax.com. Call 1-800-720-6193 now.
60 years ago today, our nation was shaken to its core by the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Paul Landis was a Secret Service agent and assigned to Jackie Kennedy's detail. He was some 15 feet away when the 35th president slumped into the First Lady's arms after being shot. Now, 60 years later, the 88-year-old finally sharing his story in his new book, The Final Witness. He joins us with James Robinault, a presidential historian who worked with him to get his book ready. Robinault wrote a profile in Vanity Fair about the implication of Landis's book. Good morning to you both. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Paul, I want to start with you because I understand you still suffer from PTSD to this day from witnessing the murder firsthand. How did that event change your life, sir?
Well, I was going to be a career Secret Service agent, but after the assassination, it just everything, I couldn't get rid of the bad memories, and I left Secret Service 6 months after the assassination and just kind of disappeared into the background.
Mr. Landis, so many people still remember that day. My mother talks about she remembering where she was on that day. I have to believe that the trauma is especially sound for you. Now, you've been afraid to speak your truth and you've kept your recollections private for these past few decades until now. Why share your story now?
Well, I was not comfortable sharing my story until like 10 years ago for the 50th anniversary. And I started reading, and I needed to tell my story, and after I talked to Ken Gormley who was the director of law at Duquesne, and Lou Merletti, former Secret Service agent, I was encouraged to tell my story, and I felt comfortable talking about it then.
Mr. Robinault, I know you helped Mr. Landis put this together in a form, in a way that everyone could understand and appreciate. What new information was shared in this book that may upend what we thought we knew about Mr. Kennedy's assassination?
Yeah, so first of all, he wrote the book by himself. It was written when I got it. But once I met with him, we worked to get him ready for the media because we knew the media storm was coming. This is the biggest information since the Warren Report in 1964. Paul found an intact bullet behind where President Kennedy had been sitting when he was shot, on top of the rear seat of the limousine. That intact bullet is central to the Warren Commission. They assumed it had gone through Kennedy into Governor Conley, causing 7 different injuries and coming out pristine. Paul found it on the back of the car, which means it did not go through President Kennedy. Therefore, that really does completely bury what's called the single bullet theory, and everything has to be looked at anew now because of it.
I have to tell you both that my colleague, Markie Martin, could not wait to get her hands on your book, Paul. So I want you to know that she has definitely enjoyed the read. She has enjoyed learning more about this point in our history. Mr. Robinault, I want to thank you both for joining us this morning. And guys, good luck with the book. Happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's happy Thanksgiving to you.
What a time. I mean, just looking back at some of the elders, some of the people who were there 60 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and
they were
debunking what we thought.
Exactly. And still, there will be questions about their stories as well. Marni Hughes is here. No question. We're going to enjoy what's coming up in the next few hours.
Well, thank you. Our focus will be on the hostages. You all have spoken with a number of family members this morning. Over the next few hours, we will continue to do so. I want to highlight just a few of them for you now. I'll be speaking with Gilly Roman. His sister, Yarden, was taken. Her husband and Yarden and their 3-year-old daughter were put in the back of the trunk on October the 7th. They were able to escape and then run away. And there you can see Yarden. She handed her 3-year-old daughter to her husband. He ran. She was then captured. So I'll be speaking with her brother about the hope that they now feel that she is one of the women who may come home. I'll be speaking with Morin Aloni. His 6 family members now are being held hostage. His sisters, 2 sisters, brother-in-law, and 3 young nieces. The last message that he received from his sister was help. They are in the house. He said that she went on to say, we're not sure we're going to make it. And then about an hour and a half later, and he said this was an excruciating hour and a half, he got a voice message from his sister, and she said, terrorists are burning down the house. Help, we are dying. He says the last 45 or so days, life has been on pause for these family members. We talk about it. We see it in the news. You at home are watching this, and we're waiting for these family members to come home for their loved ones. The pain is immeasurable, right? We cannot comprehend what they're going through. And this light, this hope that they feel right now is what we want to focus and hone in on today. He said not a second goes by, not a second of a day goes by that they are not thinking about what their loved ones are doing, where they are. Do they know we are fighting every single day to get them home? So I'll talk to him, and also Omar Louboutin Granat, his cousin Shen Goldstein, and her 3 children were also taken. He's waiting for them to return home, but he's also grieving that her husband was killed, her oldest daughter was killed. So this is a mother who's being held hostage with 3 of her kids, but she watched her oldest daughter and her husband be killed before she was taken hostage. So, I mean, it's one story after another. And one thing that we're doing on NewsNation Live every day is introducing you to these families, not just that they're hostages, but who they are. They're artists, they're teachers, they're children with wonderful passions. They have futures and lives ahead of them that are exciting. And we're leaning into that so that we know who each of them are until they come home safely.
They are people, and not just pictures on a poster. They are actual loved people. Thank you so much, Marni, for doing all of that. You can watch Marni Hughes weekdays, 10 a.m. through 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, we want to tell you about this explosive new claims coming from UFO whistleblower David Grush.
You've heard him here on News Nation talking about alien life. Now, hear what he's accusing members of Congress of actually doing.
We the lazy declare that we will recline when we feel inclined.
We've checked off our to-do list.
Now we're checking off our to-don't list.
We the lazy are taking back lazy.
On our lazy boy furniture.
Lazy Boy, long live the lazy. Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser-drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. And now, get max strength topical pain relief precisely where you need it with new Tylenol Precise.
This is Marianne's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Marianne packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Start learning today at Babbel.com.
When you've tried everything.
I was getting chemical peels, bleaching cream.
This is melasma. I'm trying to get rid of it. I've tried everything.
Introducing Muesli Face RX, prescription skincare delivered straight to your door. The spot cream is 10 times more potent than over-the-counter and prescription alternatives, so you'll finally see a difference.
My skin looks amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm a loyal customer forever.
See for yourself at muesli.com/TV.
I have moderate to severe Crohn's disease. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are looking up, I've got symptom relief. Control of my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Skyrizi is the first IL-23 inhibitor that can deliver remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And the majority of people experienced long-lasting remission at 1 year.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
Now's the time to ask your gastroenterologist how you can take control of your Crohn's with Skyrizi.
Control is everything to me.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
If your vehicle isn't under warranty, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. Sooner or later, it's going to break down, and you'll be stuck with a repair bill that could blow up your budget. Unless you have an auto protection plan from Everything Breaks. Our protection plans cover the expensive items that your auto insurance doesn't, like engine repairs, transmission, AC, computer systems, and more. Plus, our plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, free towing, free trip interruption, and free rental cars. Plans from other providers can cost between $100 to $200 per month. But with Everything Breaks, you can get the critical coverage that you need with plans starting at less than $1 a day. And if you call right now, your rates will be locked in, guaranteed. If your vehicle is out of warranty, call us now to get protected before it breaks down.
Call 1-800-374-4456, 1-800-374-4456.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do.
We do. Wow. That was whistleblower David Grush when we broke his allegations of what he claims is a government cover-up of UFOs right here on NewsNation.
There are believers in Grush's testimony. There are also skeptics. But he's dropping even newer bombshells on the most listened to podcast in America, The Joe Rogan Experience. And Emily Finn is here with more on those latest comments. Emily?
Well, Adrienne, he definitely dropped some bombs. And I think one of the biggest takeaways was when he accused both lawmakers in Congress and aerospace company Lockheed Martin of having direct knowledge of programs to study non-human materials. He says some even tried to publicly discredit him. Coming forward is a risky dance to avoid sharing too much, but for Grush, he says this is all about government accountability.
I'm here to protect national security, and I'm just trying to put all the general topics out there for public conversation to hold our government accountable, really.
In his first interview since our NewsNation exclusive with UFO whistleblower David Grush, the former intelligence officer sat down with the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Earlier this year, Grush testified about an alleged covert operation regarding UAPs and says his efforts to uncover the government's lack of transparency has destroyed his career.
When I really started looking into this, I mean, they came after me so hard to try to revoke my clearance, ruin my career, kicked me out of my agency, and they accused me of everything you could possibly think of with like no evidence.
Grush claims he held meetings with, quote, senior people who work for members of Congress to brief them on his findings. He accused Chairman of the House Intel Committee, Congressman Mike Turner, and Chairman of the Armed Services Committee, Representative Mike Rogers, of trying to stop him from coming forward for their own political gain.
If there's nothing to see here, why are Mike Rogers and Mike Turner in the House blocking this bill that is, in my opinion, the most important legislation for transparency in American history?
NewsNation reached out to both congressmen, but did not receive a response. Grush also accused aerospace company Lockheed Martin of having direct knowledge of the alleged government cover-up of non-human material.
We knew that Lockheed Martin had this material for decades. Lockheed Martin wanted to divest itself from this material at a specific facility that's known to me, that I provided to the Inspector General.
Lockheed Martin did not have a comment for our NewsNation team, instead saying questions about UAPs are best addressed by the U.S. government. Adrienne and Nick?
All right, we will see if there is any confirmation of some of those allegations. Well, actress Susan Sarandon, she has been dropped by her major talent agency. The scoop on the controversial comments that led to her now needing some new representation.
Coming up next, NewsNation Live with Marni Hughes on NewsNation, news for all America.
I've always been prone to hair thinning.
I was getting older. I was under a lot of stress.
I started taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement.
I am back to me.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
I really do think cilantro tastes like soap.
Soap?
I can taste it in anything.
There you go.
Go look at the Sprinter gene. I wonder if you have it or if that's why you didn't make the team.
Let me see. Let me pull it up.
See what you have.
Sprinter gene. Don't have it.
Yep, I knew it.
Can't run, can't catch, too short. What else does it tell you? No, hold on. I'm going to find some athletic gene in here.
Give the gift of family heritage with Ancestry.
Lactate is 100% real milk, just without the lactose. Delicious, too. Just ask my old friend Kevin.
Nothing like enjoying a cold one while watching the game. Who's winning?
We are, my friend. We are.
We're still going for that nice catch.
We're still going for that sweet shot.
And with higher stroke risk from AFib not caused by a heart valve problem,
we're going for a better treatment than warfarin. Eliquis. Eliquis reduces stroke risk and has less major bleeding. Over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke.
Don't stop taking Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. Get help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
The #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner. We're going for it. Ask your doctor about Eliquis.
Stop everything you're doing. Look at your screen. If you have Medicare, you need to call this number right now during the Medicare annual enrollment period. It's time to find out if there is a plan available with additional benefits and savings compared to your current plan. The Medicare Benefit Helpline is accepting calls right now to see what plans with additional benefits are available to you. Plans may offer more benefits and savings than you are receiving with your current plan. Everyone on Medicare should call to make sure you're getting a plan with the benefits you want. Call the Medicare Benefit Helpline for your free, no-obligation Medicare benefits review. You don't get a Medicare Advantage plan with extra benefits automatically. You need to take action. Right now is the time to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan with additional benefits and savings.
Call 800-494-7804. That's 800-494-7804. Call now.
Shopping online comes with digital threats, so turn on NordVPN. Steer clear of phishing websites and encrypt your online traffic. Get the deal now.
It's important more than ever today to know what's happening in the world. I want to share that with our viewers.
Elizabeth Vargas Reports, weeknights 6/5 Central on NewsNation.
It is time for some news with Susan Sarandon, dropped now by her talent agency UTA because of remarks she made during a recent rally. Some would call it pro-Palestine, some would call it anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Here with the scoop is NewsNation senior story editor Paula Froelich. Paula, good morning.
Good morning, you guys. And I think this, to me, is really about free speech. So here's the deal. Everyone talks about free speech, and that's great. But speech isn't free. There are repercussions to what you say. Just because you can say it doesn't mean you should. And that people need to understand that even in this day of reality TV and all this other stuff, sometimes what you say can offend people to the point where they will fire you. They will drop you. And now this is what Susan Sarandon said. I'm going to read it off a piece of paper so I don't get it wrong.
That's really important.
And this is what she said at a pro-Palestinian rally. She said, there are a lot of people afraid of being Jewish at this time, and they are getting a taste of what it feels like to be a Muslim in this country, so often subjected to violence. Now, a lot of people interpreted that as Jews have it coming. A lot of people interpreted it as being anti-Semitic. And a lot of people at her agency, United Talent Agency, were like, we don't want to work with her. We don't want to promote this woman. And so she was fired. She has expressed similar things in the past, and she has also liked and reposted things by Roger Waters, who is the lead singer of Pink Floyd, who has been actually insanely anti-Semitic and come out and said really disgusting things about Jews. However, she is not the only one who is facing repercussions. There is Melissa Barrera, the star of Scream and the upcoming Scream sequels. She also posted something, was also dropped by her agent. She said, and I'm going to read this as well.
Not only dropped by her agent, she was removed from the franchise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's no longer going to be in any Scream movies, no matter how much money they made.
No, but she's already in the first and the sixth, so she's still going to get residuals. Now, she posted, Gaza is currently being treated like a concentration camp, cornering everyone together with nowhere to go, no electricity, no water. People have learned nothing from our histories, and just like our histories, people are still silently watching it all happen. This is genocide and ethnic cleansing.
That last line is what got her.
I don't know. I think there are some people who would say there was nothing wrong with what she posted.
Right. There are a lot of people who would also say that after October 7th, in which we watched a live televised pogrom happen of women being raped, children being murdered, people being murdered, blown up,
burned alive,
that they said, well, yes, but. And I'm sorry, there is no but.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is
this kind of behavior.
That is the most surprising, shocking, heinous thing about all this, is that we saw the most vivid and graphic example of hate that we, in I think, our lifetime have seen. Yeah. And then people would come out and say, yes, but.
It's the but that kills me. And they say, well, what about this? And you go, okay, but they're not the ones using, Israel's not the ones using people as human shields. Right. Are we going to talk about that, Susan Sarandon? We're going to talk about that, Melissa?
But Paula, you know what? There is a flip side here, and I want to say this here because it looks like Tom went to go defend his agent who had also been let go by CAA. So you have these. It depends on Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise said he went. He's like, wait a minute, you can't fire my agent because she said something anti-Semitic here. So it depends on whether or not you have the juice.
I'd have to see the words that were spoken because I don't know what that incident.
So there was an incident of a CAA agent who had accused Israel of genocide.
Yeah.
And she was demoted. She was on the board of CAA, and it is exactly in line. Yeah. She was demoted. Aaron Sorkin fired her. He said, she's not an anti-Semite. She's just wrong. I'm going to go to William Morris. And it is up to people who decide who they want to support and how they want to support.
But they should really know the definition of words. And I think a lot of people are miscalculating and misunderstanding what genocide really means.
Not just definition, but also that words matter and words have repercussions. Yeah. And so there you go. It
is a new frontier. And the words have always mattered, but they matter even more so today.
It is. And it is upsetting when people die. It is upsetting when children die. It is upsetting to see scenes coming out of this war. However, Israel didn't start this.
Yeah.
But will the lesson be taught?
We have to drop the mic there because we have to turn it over to Marnie. I apologize.
No.
I'm not trying to cut you off. Marnie, I know you've got NewsNation Live, and we're not going to cut into your hour.
No, that's okay, you guys. It's an important conversation. We'll continue to have it here today and beyond. Thank you. Today is Wednesday. It's November 22nd.